Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love, it is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter, it's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make her a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Bible Church, bigger, stronger, and bolder.
Anybody dealing with you, anybody you are dealing with, always remember that there is a God factor. God, a day. Ma bajao, ma babino, ma bajao, ma babino, ono loro bati eju bajao, ono loro bati seti eju bajao. Don't fight me, oh, no vex for me. Because God gave my back, no fight me. Because God deal with me, I beg, no vex for me. Because any butterfly when mistakenly go jump shuku shuku, if I go cheer. Anybody who takes you for granted, they are in for a surprise. The God whom you serve,
He is the same yesterday. He is the same today. He is the same forever. If you believe it, wave your hand and shout yes. Anybody when they look you say you be who you be? No. Make them look your back. They know they look you well. Now you that they see, but somebody dey your back. Even you know they see him, but he dey your back. Ah, Jesus. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They forget the God factor. That was why Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses. In Psalm 35, verse 21, David said, they have opened their mouth wide against me. In the second part of verse 25, David said to God, God, don't let them say that they have swallowed me up. In the first part of verse 26, look at it there, verse 26, he said, let them be ashamed and brought to confusion. Confusion. Lift your right hand up. Everybody in the building, up and down, wherever you are watching from, raise your right hand. Say, in the name of Jesus, anyone, everyone that speaks against me, that fights against me, that is troubling my life, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, be ashamed and be brought to confusion. Clap your hands, open them out, open your mouth, open your mouth. Clap your hands, open them out. Oh yes. Oh yes, I may not know who they are. Let them be ashamed. Let them be confused. Let them be ashamed. Let them be confused. Genesis chapter 37 verse 18, 10 of Joseph's brothers conspired to, the Bible, the King James says, to slay him, but they failed. Why? They forgot the God factor. They failed. They failed. Instead, the man became prime minister. The person that they planned to kill ended up becoming prime minister. Nobody knows where you are going. Oh. Look, you will arrive at your destination. In this life, I said you will arrive at your destination. If you believe me, let me hear your amen like fire, like fire, like fire, like fire, like fire, like fire. In Genesis chapter 50 verse 20, Joseph said to these same brothers, he said, you thought evil against me. He said, but God meant it for good. It don't turn them around. He turned them around.
What the enemy meant for evil, God has turned it around. He has turned it around. What the enemy meant for shame, oh, God has turned it around for my good.
So shall it be in Jesus' name. We must turn. A minimum song, now me talk so. Because God don't talk so. It must turn around for your good. Amen. Look at it, look at it. It's turning around for your good. Micah chapter 7 verse 8.
Rejoice not against me, O my enemy.
Rejoice not against me, O my enemy.
When I fall, I shall arise.
When I fall, I will arise.
When I sit
when
in
I
darkness,
sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light.
unto
A
me.
light, a light, a light. I command every darkness in your life to begin to go, to begin to go. Any darkness that made you shed tears, darkness that confused your life, I command darkness to go. Let darkness go. Make it go. Let it go from your life. Let darkness go from your life. If you believe it, let me hear your amen like fire. Everybody say darkness go. Sit down. Anyone that want to make darkness permanent in your life, they lie. We move darkness away from your life. Let darkness move from your life. Let it 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 go. Darkness go. Go, 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 go. Go. Let's go back to Numbers chapter 12. This time, verse 4. There are many things there, but let me put it this way. Suddenly, God replied Miriam and Aaron. Yes, he called 3 of them, but he was actually addressing 2 people. Suddenly, he spoke unexpectedly. Because Miriam, who started the rebellion, forgot the God factor.
Word of Life Bible Church. Bigger, stronger, and bolder.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide. International.
Don't go anywhere or I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
It's another lovely day and a beautiful new week, and everybody will truly understand that as much as we pray for God's blessings to be, it's always important also to put a positive outlook, especially as you walk yourself into a new week and also a beautiful day. On that note, I want to welcome you to another great time on television. Atlantic TV it is, and definitely you know it's Viewpoint. My name is Mike Egobadia.
And I am Mercy Irabo. Welcome to Viewpoint once again. And you know, it's a beautiful day to start a new week. And you know, you have to start this week with lots of energy and smiles to have the best of week. Well, without wasting much of our time, we'll be going on the dailies. But before that, let's go on this quick break.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Well, definitely the papers are where we're going next, right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. And for review today, as always, we have 5 papers. We have The Punch, The Vanguard, The Nation, These Day, and The Guardian is really wrapping things up. But before I do that, I want to say it's another lovely day. And you do know that yesterday, the International Day for Peace was celebrated. And the very need for all Nigerians to remember that peace is indeed the ultimate as it concerns the growth of any good nation. But anyway, as much I've said that, let's quickly run to the papers and let's see what we have on their front page. And on the Punch this morning, which we'll love to start first with, well, it looks as if we have more of different major headlines making the round on the dailies. But on the Punch, IBAS reject assembly move to probe 6 months spending is a major one right there, and riders to that. Ex-administrator insists lawmakers lack power to question tenure, as civil society organizations urge Fubara to hold IBAS accountable. But I'll tell you to really read more of that account on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's leave that and go to other major stories, especially at the topmost side of the Punch. And a major one there, crude supply to domestic refineries hit 67.6 million barrels, which is a cheering news on page 33. But what's more of a sad news on page 9 is Brunei terrorist attack victim hospitalized in Cameroon. And it goes to show you the ranging insecurity that seems to bedevil us as a nation. But don't worry, we'll take a critical look on dialogue as we look at the International Day for Peace and also the growing security and the recent call for more to be done. But to talk about more to be done, Dangote refinery change has come to oil sector. Nigerian economy, Otedola, which is a friend to Dangote, tells that man. And well, anyway, you do know there seems to be a back and forth between Dangote and that very organization. But that's the much there. Let's see if we take any other major just beneath the picture of the day. And well, yes, like I earlier stated, and this is more of a major one coming from the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, as he talked about International Day for Peace. Africa does not only fight wars, it builds bridges of peace. And these are credited to him. But like I said, we'll be looking at that on dialogue. The picture of the day is that of the birth of a new one. And we're talking about the birth of African Petroleum Regulators Forum. This was not in Nigeria, but rather it was held in Accra just on Thursday. But it is more of a gathering of the who and who, especially as it concerns the petroleum sector on the continent. But that's much we can take from the Punch.
Well, let's see what the nation has for us this morning. The major story reads, EFCC, 13,000 convictions secured. Well, you can read that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Just above the main story, Otedola, over 2 trillion naira siphoned and fraudulent fuel subsidy claims under Jonathan. And the writer says that man should embrace change in oil sector. Tinubu's full downstream deregulation, laudable. Wow, that's on page 2 of the paper. Let's see what else we have here. Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, the TSSNL. Excitement as President Tinubu commissions facilities renovated by Tantita at Sultan Bello Mosque, Kaduna. Well, that's also the picture of the day. You can see His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also some pictures of the renovated mosque. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on The Nation. Let's see what this day has for us today. Yes, the lead story says El Rufai, Tinubu planning life presidency, not genuine Democrats. And the writer says, Reno Omokri, I love Jonathan, but I will support Tinubu in 2027. That is interesting story. Well, we can read that on page 5 of the paper. Right at the top mass, unreconciled federation funds. FAAC awaits NNPC on $42.37 billion, OAGF on 2 trillion naira pending payments. And the writer says, alleged unpaid monies over 2011 to 2017. Other committees tax national oil firm to account for exploration funds since 1999. Well, that's on page 5 of the paper. Tinubu to declare 2025 Editors Annual Conference open. That's on page 12 of the paper. Right at the sidemass, UK, Canada, Australia, others announce recognition of State of Palestine, more Israeli allies to follow. That's on page 5 of the paper. And the picture of the day, well, for United Regulation in Africa, it captures the signing event for regional cooperation in petroleum regulation across Africa, and that event took place in Accra, Ghana on the 18th of September. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on This Day newspaper. Let's see what the Guardian has for us. The lead story says 2027 political divisions deepen over Tinubu's reforms. That's on page 6 of the paper. Otedola to Dapman, adapt to change, innovate or perish. That's at the top mass. And the writer says, recalls how he formed the association 23 years ago, says oil marketers' business model obsolete, loads Tinubu for fuel subsidy remover. Well, you can continue reading that on page 29 of the paper. And the picture of the day, you can see, is still that of the mosque, the Sultan Bello mosque in Kaduna. Yes, Kaduna. So you can see the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other senior government officials present. They were all in attendance at the commissioning of the mosque. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on The Guardian. Up next is the Vanguard.
Well, the Vanguard indeed is the last paper for us to really look at. And on the Vanguard this morning, well, we seem to have many, but we'll just take this as a leading one. Crude oil import hits record high as Dangote refinery reshapes trade flow. And I'll tell you to flow along with that story on page 21. Let's see if we take some other major one. Zenith Bank gross earnings source. It's a major one on page 22. No surprise. And a major screamer, more avartorial. And well, it looks as if it's almost on all dailies. $10 to Dapman. Your business model outdated. Dangote transforming petroleum sector. And I'll just tell you to read more of that story on page 31. And what's more like a picture of the day, and also that seems to be also making the round on some of the dailies, is a segment as President Tinubu commissions facilities renovated by Tantita Al Sultan Bello Mosque Kaduna. And well, anyway, it's more like bridging or building bridges, and also ensuring that, well, that seems to be, irrespective of whether you're in the north or the south. If you look at it, we are all one.
Yes,
hence no surprise that Tantita, the mining seems to be a southern company, is doing more to see how they can strengthen the faith of their Muslim brothers in Kaduna. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to go there to commission it. Well, a laudable one, you say. But anyway, that's the much you can take from the Vanguard and the papers. We still have some few time, and the major discourse that seems to be on the dailies is still the issue between Dangote Refinery and Dapman. And many are saying, well, just like what Tedola said, he said they need to re-strategize or lose face. They need to remodel their efforts and their building, or they'll just naturally lose face and die a natural death if they don't do so. Because most of, like he said, most of their style seems to be outdated or obsolete, and there's a need for refocusing and redirecting Dapman to indeed meet the demands of Nigerians. Mercy, it will also be all right. It will not be right if I do not say you're looking beautiful this morning.
Thank you. It's a new weekend,
yeah,
of course.
A beautiful new weekend.
And this was my look to Michael's birthday on Friday, so we had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Thank you for the fun, Mr.
Well, thank you, but I'll still be looking for my present. But all the same, let's run to Dapman, as Dangote seems to be having a running battle that is unending with that very organization. Do you feel the advice coming from Otedola is a bit timely? Or do you feel rather than dousing the tension, it might really escalate more?
Okay, this is our friend supporting friend.
I love that. I love the way you put it.
Okay, I think it's coming timely because the whole thing has breeded this whole tension, and he is trying to let us know that the same way I told you the other day that Dangote actually means well for Nigeria, and I think that's the angle Otedola is coming from, trying to tell that man that you should see reasons with Dangote and not you trying to do what you've been used to. You should also try to explore change, be open to change, and I think there's nobody that is above change. You can actually just be open to new things, and this is what Otedola is trying to tell the dark man.
Well, anyway, as much as that advice seems to be timely, like you say, I'll just feel we need to leave that, and let's see how they will settle their difference and bury the hatches. But one that seems to not be settling anytime soon is the issue of more call for probe of the solo administrator that was in charge of reservoirs for the last 6 months, and we're talking about Ibas. There's still growing call for his tenure to be probed, but the issue is that he has come out to say this morning that his time, there's nothing like probe that will come over him because he was never elected, but rather put in place. But the question still remains, whether you were elected, selected, or devaluated, is it not right that you give account of your stewardship, especially as it concerns public funds, during the era that were in charge of the state. Mercy, he's coming out to say they do not have any constitutional right to probe him, and well, the House of Assembly were waiting for their own reaction to it. But what's your reaction about all of this mix?
Well,
probe, don't probe, issue of I have constitutional right, issue you don't have that constitutional right.
I don't really need to say too much. The whole action is loud enough for everybody to hear. They said clear conscience fears no accusation. So just with that, I will rest my comments there. I don't need to say too much. But his action alone, we already know what it is.
Well, anyway, as much as we're having me, I'm suspecting, or I don't know yet. As much as I'm suspecting what it might be, there's no point suspecting anyone. The FCC has indeed claimed to say they've secured about 1,300 convictions in the last couple of months. Many will ask, who are these persons that were convicted? Is it just the normal, like they call them, Yahoo boys, or is it politicians that have stolen enough and taken it away from our shores? Who are the persons, 1,300 persons that were convicted? I hope it's not those
13,000 actually.
13,000 persons that were convicted. So my question is, who are these persons? Are they high-profile politicians or just rather young internet fraudsters? Let's understand who these persons are.
Okay, so I think what we've been seeing on the dailies, it's always for cyber crimes.
Yeah.
And we've actually not seen, except it's a private conviction, which I am not aware of.
Yeah.
So if it has to do with all of these politicians that are siphoning public funds and the rest, I'm sure that we are supposed to see them on the dailies. But when we don't get to see them, we just have to keep believing our instincts that it still has to do with convictions of Yahoo boys. And we're not against it, but the truth is we also have other criminals in the country, not just the Yahoo boys. So if you are doing your job, you should be able to get all of them, not just certain group of persons. You should be able to do your job diligently. So that's why I don't think it's any of top officials. It's still the Yahoo boys.
Well, anyway, as much as those convictions seems to be in order, we'll just employ that more should also be done on account of those that have siphoned our hard-earned money and taken it overseas. EFCC should please in every way go after them. It's a clearing call, especially from us, Atlantic TV. But we're still looking at a major one also on the front page of the day, is the issue of 2027. It looks as if Tinubu reform agenda has divided or polarized those in the APC that they are feeling that more needs to be done, and the political tension that all he's saying his reforms are generating in the country is one that is putting a whole lot of Nigerians on the edge. But the question still remains, are the policies right, or are the northern elders really just saying something that does not count? Another major question.
That's a major question about the 2027 elections. And of course, you know, you can engage with us on all our social media platforms. So if you have answers to these questions, you can of course drop your answers in the comment section. Still talking about the 2027 election, I saw this comment, Reno Omokri, I love Jonathan, but I will support Tinubu in 2027 elections. But Jonathan has really not made his intentions known. All of these are still speculations.
Yeah.
He hasn't really made his intentions known. But Reno coming out to say, I love Jonathan, but I will support Tinubu. I don't know, Reno, which side are you exactly?
Well, anyway, what I feel the side Reno is the side of who pays me.
Or the winning team.
Yes, who is the boss? Who am I going to work for? Who pays my salary? Who does more for me? That's where Reno is.
Because Reno, I remember during the last elections, he was supporting Atiku. And then he was bringing out things about, what's it called, about Tinubu. And now you're saying you are giving Tinubu your support in 2027 elections.
But don't forget, he seems to be under the payroll of this administration. So naturally, where would his support lies? Come on.
Okay, you know, I really want you to see this personality of Reno. I remember before the elections, he was always talking about Peter Obi, telling us all the good deeds of Peter Obi while he was still governor and all of that. But the moment Peter Obi decides to contest against Atiku, he started bringing out things about Peter Obi. telling us Peter Obi is this, Peter Obi is that. And next thing, he was supporting Atiku. And all of a sudden, he's now supporting Tinubu. And if Jonathan makes his intention known and he's coming for the 2027 elections and peradventure he wins, I'm sure he would switch sides again. I don't know why these politicians are like this. If you want to play on this party's road, continue doing that. Why do you have to keep switching sides, always going for the winning team? That's what I feel this Reno is always doing. What do you think?
Well, anyway, your thoughts is as good as mine, and many Nigerians are really asking, Reno Mokri, where are you? What side of the divide you seem to be? Many will say in our local palace, now if like saying our web belly face, but irrespective of that, well, anyway, Mokri is still a very formidable young man. I'll still call him young, or the mine, I know he's past his 50s, but his insight onto many issues, especially as national issues, are always well respected. But irrespective, I know you love Jonathan, but you're going to support Tinubu. But my question is, really, there's a thin line between love and hate. But anyway, no hatred here. We'll just tell you to please hold on. We'll go on a break now. And when we come back, dialogue will take center stage on the show today. It's still Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
I am SP Dafe Bright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before. Not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM pin. The moment they cannot get the SIM pin, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM pin and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it at Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM pin. Your SIM pin is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM pin. If you cannot enter your SIM pin, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM pin. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save 9. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines. Not be to call. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, Niger Celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide. International.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Fear and grief have once again gripped Sokoto State following the death of several villagers in a boat mishap in Sambon, Beni local government area of the state. As they fled for safety from a fresh wave of Lukurawa terrorist attack, the Sokoto State Police Command on Saturday confirmed the incident. The police disclosed that search and rescue operations are ongoing to recover the bodies of victims still missing. Now, according to eyewitness accounts, the victims were desperate villagers who had taken the waterways in a frantic attempt to escape from the marauding bandits. Despite repeated government assurance, the bandits remain entrenched in many parts of the state, mounting checkpoints, burning farmlands, and forcing rural dwellers in mass exits. Security experts have warned that unless urgent and coordinated measures are taken, Sokoto risks sinking deeper into a cycle of bloodshed, displacement, and also avoidable disaster, thus opening another chapter of violence in the north and adding to the 2,266 people killed in the first half of this year alone, according to National Human Rights Commission. But the question on the minds of many Nigerians is, why is it getting worse rather than better? What are we not doing that needs to be done to curb the growing insecurity? Should a total different approach be taken? And why is the present seem not to be helping out or yielding any major results? Undermining will spend huge amount budgeted for insecurity every year. Well, these and more as it concerns the worsening insecurity in the nation is what this edition of Dialogue will be looking at, especially as we just marked the International Day of Peace just yesterday. And that is growing insecurity, the way forward, is what we are definitely looking at on today's edition of this very lovely program. We're talking about the growing insecurity and the recent call that more needs to be done, especially as it concerns the insecurity, knowing also that we just marked the International Day for Peace just yesterday, and indeed a one that we need to really see how we can really curb. I'm talking about the growing insecurity. But anyway, as usual, to help us talk about it is no other person but a security expert, and I'm calling on no other one but I'd rather call him Mr., but he prefers I call him Comrade, so I'll call him Mr. Sam Edafe. And he's a security expert and has an M&S, especially as it concerns intelligence gathering. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, yes, it was a sad one during the weekend in Sokoto when we learned about more persons being killed on account of fleeing the madness that happened on Friday. And this is not just one story, but one too many, especially looking at this new terrorist group. We call them the Lukarawa, having their own entrenchment into the life of Sokoto residents. Now, this is not only the new terrorist organization that is now bedeviling the north. We also have the Mahmuda, which is also terrorizing Kwara State at the moment. They killed some INEC officials just recently. So it looks as if we're even having the birth of new terrorist organization rather than we having a reduction in them. So my question now is, why are things getting worse rather than better? And I just want you to really let us understand why this growing insecurity seems to be increasing by the day rather than we putting a wedge and a halt to it.
Okay, for the benefit of those who, good morning once more, for the benefit of those who have not really heard us talk on this platform here, these basic issues, I think I'm going to go to the basics. Let's look at how it was started.
Okay.
And you just mentioned, they are, as much as I believe, they are not actually living.
Yes.
They've been there from inception. And unfortunately, they were hiring some elements in the laws to protect their own land. And unfortunately, somehow they got it wrong and they became, instead of becoming the hunter, they became the ones that are able hunter. They became the one that will protect the people and not the people who are able hunting the people.
Yes.
Then now brings us back to the fundamental, which is the basics. Are we getting it right? Or it's getting worse by the day. But it's not really a lose-lose situation. There has been some, wins in the southeast here.
Yes.
There has been some level of
we do know.
But basically, in the northwest and the northeast, I think it's not yet good. It's getting worse. And I can attribute that to the fact that maybe the relative peace we had for a while has been overtaken by these bandits, and who think and you attribute this to some factors. You can't look at some basic factors that you know what it is. We are getting close to the year of politicking and all that. So these are things that must. But the act of terror is to instill fear and to win more grounds for themselves. So it's not totally out of place. Well, we expected this kind of thing. The only thing I expected the government in the other road and those who are saddled
with the responsibility
of governance should think ahead of the terrorists and bandits and whatever you call them. So I think so sincerely that the federal level, the federal government at the center in charge of dispensation of security measures should be able to think out of the box, because we already know their pattern. There's been a pattern.
Because that this question, we seem to know them. Now, this terrorist organization, the new, they are not relatively new. They've been there. We understand how they operate. So it beats everybody's imagination that we are still not having it right. Rather than having more terrorists go down or be neutralized, as we call it, we're having even the birth of new ones coming on board. So we'll come to the approach because I'm really concerned. But now let's look at the impact this seemed to have on Nigerians. In my last count, we had 61 companies leaving Nigeria shores in the last 4 years. Yes, we do know the forest crisis was also a contributor. But if you look at it, insecurity took center stage. And reason, many businesses are closing shop. International businesses are closing shop and leaving the shores of this now. But my next question as we build our talk, especially as it concerns insecurity, let's look at what impacts this growing insecurity is having on the lives of even ordinary Nigerians. Let's look at the impact.
You see,
businesses, villages are now closing shop. Businesses, we're talking about major markets, especially in the north, east, northwest. And funny enough, even the north central seems not to be thriving anymore on account of this.
Now, the socioeconomic impact on the negative cannot be overemphasized. There are a lot of things that have gone wrong in this country, and you see, until we get it right, until you start any unstable economy, security-wise, is always on a negative trend.
Okay,
it's always on. It will always pummel downwards.
Yes.
So we need to get it right. That's only when you cannot be sure of multinationals finding their way back to this country. If I imagine me bringing let's come, basically, I want to come here to do business and I'm not secured, I'm not safe. Why would I want to come to somewhere that I'm not secured? I can't guarantee the security. Nobody can guarantee my security and the security of my workers and all that. So I think that you can't overemphasize the socio-economic impact on negative, like I said earlier. So what, it will come to what we should do.
Yes.
But you cannot really overemphasize. It's really, we're talking about a shortage of security for food. Look at for instance, you see the hyperinflation trend, inflationary trend is hinged on the insecurity, because those who ought to go to farm don't go to farm anymore. There is no food production and there is no security of lives, and so it cuts across all spheres. Socially, economically, and all that. So you cannot quantify, even educationally. Yes. Because people don't go to schools.
We have about 10.2 million out of school children. Yeah, especially in the northeast.
So its impact cannot be overemphasized. You can't downplay it in any way.
Okay, now, as much as we've talked about the impact, you're just often pushing me to really ask the fundamentals. And the fundamentals is, why are we really not getting any results? I could still remember the 2025 budget for defense is 6.11 trillion. Is the highest we've ever had as it concerns defense in this country, in the history of Nigeria. We've never had 6.11 trillion being budgeted for defense. So my question, naturally, if that much is being budgeted for defense, basically we'll feel our villages will be safe, we'll feel our rural areas will be will never be under threat of attacks from these marauding bandits. But rather, that's not the case. So my question is, how come we've put it, because I could still remember President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech when he gave that at the National Assembly, when he said the 6.11 trillion that was budgeted for defense was needed to deal with these problems. But yet, here we are. How many months after, we are still struggling? How come this huge amount is not making any significant impact as it concerns securing Nigerians?
It all depends on how it is being managed and how and what is being budgeted for, what you do with it and all that. Until you get it right, which is the basics. Until you get the basics right, you can even budget $10 billion and it won't make any impact. So number one, we need to get it right. Leadership, square pegs in square holes, and make sure that those who are saddled with responsibility of appropriating these funds are diligent in nature and people with high level of integrity. Otherwise, corruption, it will always, you will see.
So are you saying most of these funds are being siphoned, hence we are not getting the results?
You can't rule that out. I think one of the major problems we have as it affects the battle against insurgency and act of terror is corruption. We'll come to that basically, but I think I know basically one of the major problems we have is corruption. So until that is majorly nipped, you can't have a win-win situation.
Now, do you feel insecurity has taken a commercial trend?
It is commercial, and I think that until we know what to do, we won't get it right. And I know it's a money-spinning venture for a lot of people and I know that, I mean, as much as we don't want to talk about this on air, but, we have intelligence that those who are, who are saboteurs along the line, you see that even those within the system are saboteurs because they are making so much money. The economic gains cannot be quantified, so they make so much money from it. So it has become a money-spinning venture for them. So it's been commercialized. You understand what I'm saying? So you will see that they will always be saboteurs down the line. We will always make sure that this thing does not come to an end. Then unfortunately, we are within the sphere of political hibernation. So we need to get Nigeria out of. And the only one way I'm going to come, it's not as if I'm going to solutions though. We need to institutionalize our institutions, make them very, very dependent and can be able to stand on their own. Not that they are being controlled by one or two factors. So I think that Nigerians should begin to ask questions when necessary. With enough of sitting on the fence, we should begin to ask those who are in the helm of affairs, what are you doing? It's like just budgeting about 6.1 trillion naira, and everybody, even the National Assembly, is at there are no oversight factions. People don't ask questions. They don't ask what the funds were done. What did you do was the funds judiciously used and all that. So people it's hard time and just begin to ask questions. I don't know if our activists are sleeping. I don't know if those our pro-democratic activists, whether they are sleeping. They don't ask questions anymore. In those days, we used to get it right. People used to ask questions. We don't ask questions anymore.
So now I'm going to really ask the question, is it the approach we are taking? Yeah, because you just talk about politics. It looks as if it has a mix of all. It's now more business for some certain persons that end up shipping these ammunitions either from the borders down into our shores, or even some people are making a huge amount, especially as it concerns ransom taking. We've seen on social media many of these bandits, lords or kingpin, as they call them, celebrating huge ceremonies, all on account of cashing out. So we do understand in the business, we also understand the politics you are talking about, because just 2 months ago, or rather last month, August to be precise, the Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, said the hike or the spike in issues of insecurity is all geared towards the 2027 general election. Yes, we understand all of that, but we will also understand that this did not start now. It started some years ago. It started way back, up to towards the Yar'Adua era, rolled in during the Jonathan era, took a monster dimension during the Buhari era, and now is now more of a big problem for all Nigerians in the Tinubu era. So it's not a problem that started now. But my question is, are we using the right approach to deal with this monster called terrorism? Is our approach, we know we are using the kinetic approach. Is the kinetic approach really working at all?
Now, I think...
Because we see many cases of them being neutralized.
Now, let's be very, very serious.
Yes, let's understand.
We have a very peculiar situation in Nigeria.
Peculiar in what sense?
Peculiar in the sense that it has ethno-religious inclination. You know, there are diverse ways to this thing, you know. I think that initially we talked about how it started, the fundamental, how it started the metamorphosis. It actually started in the Obasanjo regime, and I know that Obasanjo had a time, I think he went to see Yusuf some time ago, the young man who started the Boko Haram stuff, you know, and he had a discussion and all that. And they were even paid. I remember Ali Bono, what is the name, Modu Sharif?
Modu Sharif, yes,
of Borno State, the former governor of
during
Borno
1999 to 2003.
So he reached out to them. And I think Shetima did same too. And when Jonathan came, even Yar'Adua, when Jonathan came on board, during the Yar'Adua, I think Jonathan was able to maybe reach out, even when they were trying to reach out to those in Niger Delta area here, they still
was also adding.
So I think that was the non-kinetic issue I'm talking about, non-kinetic measures they were using to see how they can be able to manage this thing. Now that brings me to the question about ideology, you know, ideology and, so when is ideology, it's much more, especially when it's not faith-based, it's much more easy to deal with. When the people are, you know, is a problem, we are trying to deal with socio-economic problems, you know, it's much more easy to deal with. So we can come to the drawing table, we'll come to the table and, you know, we have discussions, we deliberate and see how we can resolve it, you know. But when it becomes faith-based, vis-a-vis ideology, it becomes much more difficult to curtail, because at that level, you wouldn't understand them, you know. So the only way we can do is to probably set up machinery, like what is obtainable in Indonesia and in Saudi Arabia, for instance. You know, they have a more robust, you know, de-radicalization process in Saudi Arabia. They involve Islamic clerics and all that to see how they can be able to de-radicalize them, make them understand that, you know, you come to them and make them understand that, okay, this what you are doing, it's not this is not what the Quran says, this is not what this says and all that. If they are Christians, bring the church body into place, then bring, but if it's Nigeria, now for instance, I'm going to solutions right away. You know, these are things we should get right. So I come back to the fundamental. Is it ideology? Is it basically out of economic gains? It is, you know, so, but that's why I said Nigeria's situation is a peculiar one, because the factors that are responsible for the Nigerian situation are multidimensional. They are multidimensional. It's not just one thing, like you have in a, you know, global trend where we have France, they say, okay, this was basically because of this. You know, Nigeria is worse than that kind of situation. So we have to have a multidimensional approach. Probably a 6-point multi. You know, the objective is to make sure that, okay, we bring this down. So, you know, I'm going to go there when we go to the solutions, but that we need to look at the problems as they are. What was the reason? And now, for instance, now in the north there we'll talk about that, but in the southeast we'll talk about inequality, you know, in marginalization and all that. So these are things you will look at, you know. So, but that gave birth to all this. So agitation can come. If it's agitation, people can be talked with. People can
just
be,
like
you know,
the Niger Delta
issue, you know, and people will, you know, down their tools. But when it comes to ideology and faith and all that, or they hinge their criminality on faith, you know, because people can just say, okay, we are doing this based on faith. Basically, that's not it. They just hinge it. You know, they put their.
But they have another interior motive.
The ulterior motive is to generate revenue and probably take absolute control. And the act of terror, don't forget, is to instill terror and take possession. So when they come, and it might be a long-term plan. Probably they want to come and harness a people, harness a land grabbing, or maybe take over your territory and all that. So these are just things that can be responsible for this kind of thing.
Okay, now we're still talking about why we seem not to be getting it right. Yeah, you've now talked about us starting, or this problem started with ideology, has now come into more of business. But irrespective of it, if we have a good system in place, At least, even if we cannot, there's no way you can eradicate crime. But at least you bring it to the barest minimum. Now, my next question is, because if we take our mind back to 8 of these months, we saw the northern elders visiting President Tinubu and asking these same questions I'm asking you. Why is this problem not going? Why are we still having a runoff of what seems to be happening in the north, and we're now having bet of new terrorist organizations rather than having them reduced? And one of the major things I felt the northern elders also requested for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the changing of the service chiefs. They feel they've overstayed, and because of that, they seem to now be a part of the problem rather than a solution. So my question is it a matter of changing the service chief? Do we need to change our total architecture as it concerns security, bring in a new face, bring in a new drive, remove some of these persons that are now so entrenched in the issue? So will a change of service chief be the beginning of us having this? If you still remember, I'd rather take your mind back to also during the era of President Muhammadu Buhari, late President Muhammadu Buhari. He had just 2 service chiefs all through his 8 years. When even the problem was heightened way back in 2021, he still left his service chiefs. But immediately he changed, we saw relative gain and successes against these marauding bandits. So will the change of service chief be the beginning of the result we should have? Or you feel whether service chiefs are there, just like Ndume said, whether they are there, they are not there, the issue is beyond that. Let's understand.
Exactly. You know, I want to tell you that is whatever the northern elders want to do is basically politics. You know, they played politics. You know, you can't hold that politics. Now, that brings us back to the yesteryears. Yes. In the era of Jonathan, we had a chief of army staff, you know, one general, Lieutenant General Hejirika. Right. I remember what happened. He came out using the kinetic means. He came out with full force, full breach. And we understand, we knew what was happening then. What happened? They not rose up and said they are killing their people. And they were going to institute cases of
human rights
abuse against the chief of army staff then.
At Amnesty
So
International.
it's like you now, okay, what you have, it has come back to witch hunt them. You imagine that if it has been annihilated then, by now, they would have been at peace. So I think the North is not being fair. You know, I think
so it's not a thing of changing the service.
No, it's not. I think each time you have a Northerner, a non-Northerner in governance, they try to play politics. I didn't see them meet Buhari at any point in time to ask for these kind of things, sincerely. So I feel like it should be much more than this. And I know that the root problem is more than the service chiefs. So we need to have an attitudinal change at the top level, at the level of governance, you know, then we must, as a people, be ready. Because it's not just basically the government alone. You know, we should have a more robust, if we're going to solutions now, we'll now have a more robust intelligence networking amongst the, you know, interagency community, security agency community. Then we now have to have a communal security agency intelligence gathering network. So is it that we decide to drive it in the office of the ONSA, the office of the National Security Advisor, or we create a national, what we call a national counter-terrorism unit that is, you know, at that level that oversees the
saddled with the responsibility.
You know, understand that. So these are things that the government has to look at. Then I basically think, in my own opinion, I think that it's hard time Nigeria, you know, has to come up with the police of the police.
The police of the police.
What they call probably the Homeland Security Network, you know, that will now look at, you know, because basically I told you, it's difficult for these kind of things to be happening up north without the input of
the locals
and even security agents. So when you need to see what I mean, the commercialization of this crime. You need to see how well they are stupendous, where some of these people are. So why don't you vet them? Do a vetting, do a due diligence on this security. After a while, recall them, do your vetting, do your due diligence on them, and know their source of income, how they get it. Imagine a police officer earning those kind of properties, you know, and without your checking. So you know, in those days, in the days of NSO, it's difficult for a civil servant to own properties that are beyond his wages. So that's why that level of corruption was at that level. See, when we had between, I was a young man, but I knew that when Umaru Shinkafi was the DG of NSO then, you know, they had almost a zero level of corruption. Because you're going to be asked, how did you get the car? How did you buy a car? Are you a civil servant of level 10? And your phone, your money can, and you didn't get a loan? So how did you get a car? So these are questions that need to be answered. We need to do things. We need to set up machineries, security agents that can police the police. Until at that level, we will continue to have saboteurs at the helm of affairs at that level, because you have a line. Let's assume, let's come like this. Let's look at it, a line down from the. Let's assume that the head, even the chief of defense staff, is hell-bent on eradicating this. Yeah. And he is not the one that will operate it at the field level. We have operational officers. So he's going to go down a line. And if there is a corrupt person within this line, he bridges it and does what we call selling out. He sabotages the line. So before the information gets to the operative, it's already been sabotaged. So that is what we need to do. At that, and that has to be cut short. All that has to be cut short. We'll know, as I said, is that setting up a unit or maybe setting up a homeland, so that to vet security operatives, and at the same time set up probably a counter-terrorism unit that will be able to say, okay, there is no much bureaucracy when it comes to operational level of this. You just, Mr. President gives the order, and the CTU director takes it over and goes to the operation.
So it's more like just taking a model after the United States of America that has homeland security.
Exactly.
That police the police.
Exactly. That's the idea. Okay. So until Nigeria gets to that level where we know that, okay, people, everyone has to be accountable, we won't get it right.
Okay. Now, still talking about the Americans, because you just brought this in.
Yes.
You talked about homeland security. I could still remember on the 31st day of October, 2020, intelligence gathering made them come to rescue an American that was kidnapped in Niger Republic but was brought to Nigeria. And they came with intelligence gathering. They rescued, after eliminating or neutralizing the terrorists that kidnapped him, they rescued him and took him away back to the United States.
That's really important.
Yes. Now, do you feel we are lacking in that? Because you just talked about policing the police. But let's bring technology, because technology was effective in them getting the precise location of where this man was, having every information on how many persons that were there that had to be neutralized to rescue him. Now, do you feel we are lacking in that? The required technologies to help go after this person. Do you feel we're lacking in that? And do you feel a change of narrative will be there when we start introducing technologies into dealing with the issues of insecurity?
Now, okay, I want to tell you something. Battles are fought by strategies.
Okay.
And the act of terror will not be any less different. Our strategy and tactical formations are so much lacking. You see, the operation you're talking about was one wild thing that was kidnapped by the car. They took him from Niger and brought him back to Nigeria. Now, that formation took place, and the operation was precise. You know how long that operation lasted? From the time of taking off and to the time of landing, it was timed.
Precisely.
Precisely. That is what we mean by tactical formation. You can have a good strategy when you don't have a good tactical team. It could be.
And it was the American SEAL that took out that.
It was a naval SEAL.
Yeah,
it was an operation of the naval SEAL, and they came out. They did. See, you go to the drawing board and you decide all this.
Can we do that?
We can do that. We can do all that. All we need to do is to have the right operatives, and that's why I talked about, either setting up a CTU, counter. So you train them, and once they are equipped with the right technology, because this war is beyond, whatever. I know that we have our own shortcomings. That's why I said you can budget 6-something trillion when it's not in the right, once it's not used rightly, you get it wrong. We can do all that. I think that we have the personnel. All we need to do is to train them and get the right technology equipment. And we'll be out of this mess. So it is either Mr. President goes back to the National Assembly. Let's go to the National Assembly. Tell them, okay, we need a counter-terrorism unit. And I get a director. And you just have...
But is the National Security Advisor not doing enough to deal with all the tactical issues that seems to be there? It's a question.
Now, as much as I don't want to, impinge on the person of the answer, on the Ribadu. But you see, I think it's way beyond him. So I want to be sincere here.
Yes.
When we talked about,
I'm
sure he's one of the first, the first of his kind. He came from the
lowest cadets and the financial crime department of the Nigerian police.
This is beyond policing. This is strictly an operational thing that requires military precision. That requires military might and all that. So, one has been in battle formation. You understand that each time an American, look at, for instance, late Colin Powell, I remember these are people who know their owners. They know what it is. So when they come into the office, they know what is expected. And I think when the battle is beyond a man, you can't do anything. The man can't do anything. It's like a drowning man, I feel that the battle needs to wake up and maybe set up scenarios that can maybe help him to build whatever he wants to build.
Okay, now I'll plead with you to hold on. We need to go on a quick break. But when we come back, we'll now talk about solutions, especially as it concerns the issue of this growing insecurity. Like I told you, yesterday it was International Day for Peace, and every need for us to talk about bringing peace back to our troubled homeland. And we're talking about Nigeria. The Northwest seems to be burning. The Northeast is also sinking deep into this crisis. The North Central, well, a place that was prized as the food basket of Nigeria, Benue State, is now having little or no meat, or rather food to eat. And well, coming down to even the South, we're having issues of cultism and also ethnic issues. If you go to the Southeast, organization and IPOP seems to be taking its head. In the Southwest, where we're still having issues of attack, ransom. So it looks as if the whole in the issue of insecurity. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll talk about solutions that need to be done, issues that need to be addressed, and what better way. Is it kinetic or not kinetic? What measures can be used in dealing with the growing insecurity?
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, Naija Celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Well, we need to welcome you back, and we're still with dialogue today. And today we're looking at the growing insecurity and a call for a different approach as it concerns it, knowing that just yesterday we celebrated the International Day for Peace, and every call for peace to come back to this great country. you totally agree with me that things not seem to be going on well. If you look at the papers just this morning, undermining some persons were hospitalized in Cameroon. The bandits still went there to attack them. It's a growing problem that needs to be done. And we lost about 8 people on Saturday, to be precise. They were escaping from bandit attack and all of them got drowned. It's a sad reality and a sad one that seems to be playing out. Not just in the north, just also on Saturday, a reverend father was killed in Isuka and he was assassinated. And it's a sad tale of what the violence seems to be spreading, especially as it concerns every look and crowning of this great nation. But anyway, we're still right here in the studio, and we still have no other person but security expert, Omojefe Dafe. He has a BSc in Criminology and Security Studies and MSc in Intelligence and Security Studies, helping out to give us an insight into what needs to be done. Well, anyway, we've just laid the foundation of what the problem is and why we seem not to be getting it right. It will be out of place if we do not talk about solutions.
Yeah, definitely.
You only recover when you discover what the problem is. So, and it will be really unfair if we just seem criticizing what seems to be on ground without giving reasonable solutions to this. Now, I want us to look at non-kinetic measures in dealing with it, because for the past years now, we've been dealing with more of kinetic approach to this. And one that I'm a bit excited about is the recent issue of having less insecurity in Kaduna State. You agree with me that when the former governor was there, Malam El-Rufai, we were having almost on a weekly basis people that were being killed in southern Kaduna. But all of that seems now to be a thing of the past. And when you look further, it looks as if it's more of the non-kinetic approach that was done by the present governor, Senator Ubasani of Kaduna State, in dealing with the problem. He said he brought everybody on ground, talked about the problem, gave them, well, the carrot and stick approach, and that seems to be working. So let's look at this. Not only that, we also do know in Katsina State as it stands, there are already big discussions between the locals and bandit leaders on account of bringing peace. Well, anyway, they might be paying ransom for peace or be paying monies to get that peace back to Katsina State. But that seems to be working. So let's look at the non-kinetic approach. Would that not be the best way to go, knowing that we seem to have done all we can, kinetic-wise, and yet nothing is happening?
Thank you very much, Michael. I used to be an apostle of non-kinetic measures, but I've come to realize that the best way to curb it is the global. We have a global trend. Okay. We have a way we handle issues on others on terrorism. Yeah. There's a global approach, and I think Nigeria will not be left out to be able to handle this the way it is handled at the global platform. Okay. Now, that brings me back to the non-kinetic issues. Okay. When I started, I think I mentioned that from the days of Obasanjo, through Yar'Adua to Jonathan, there were times that they went to meet with these people, they discussed with them, they had discussions. Even monies exchanged hands. We know a lot of monies exchanged hands. And now, at the end of the day, you may have a temporary relief. A temporary relief. You will have a temporary relief, but at the end of the day, they will come back bigger and stronger.
So dialogue with them is not the way out?
It's not the way out. It's a full breach. It's a full breach. They have declared war against the state. And here, there are rules of engagement. You don't come and bear arms against the state, and begin to expect, I've seen a lot of the peace meetings they had. You saw what happened in
Zamfara State. I was almost going there. When we had 40 persons that were kidnapped in the mosque after in Safa, local government area.
After a peace meeting. And you saw how they came with gadgets, they came with weapons and all that, showcasing that to them. It makes caricature of the state of Nigeria. It shows that there is no leadership in place. That's what it portends. And I want to believe that we have good leaders. It's just that maybe they don't know what to do, maybe they're overwhelmed. But sincerely, the best way to handle it is the kinetic way. And you go out in a full breach. But let's get it right. Let's get the basics right. Number one, I'm going to talk about the solutions here now.
Yeah, please do.
Number one, we'll talk about, okay, for instance, combined intelligence gathering.
Okay.
By sister agencies. Now, in America, for instance, you have about 15 to 20 intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
We are not beneath, Nigeria is beneath of intelligence agencies. And these are, even the ones in 25 or so, 2025 in America, these are just the ones by the periphery. There are other mafious intelligence organizations that you don't know. Over 5 that they carry out operations without the knowledge of even the
other major security.
Not even, apart from the majors, even those who are, there are votes that come. Just like what the CIA used to do, but then CIA used to do these jobs, but now they have left it out. You will not even hear of these organizations. As far as the national...
more like outsourcing.
As far as the Congress is concerned, they are not existing. As far as the United States Congress is concerned, they are not existing. And these ones, they do dirty job. You see, when I say the might of the American army is not even known. Because what they put out for you to know is what you know. They just put it out there. And that's why when they come with that precision. They come with that full force. They have the intelligence that you don't have. You see when they came to rescue Mr. Walton, you see what they did? They had precisions. When the CIA failed, it was taken over by another organization that was not known. So you see, they submitted everything that was happening within the camp of the Boko Haram. They knew about them. Do we have such organizations? So we need to think inwards. It's high time we remove this mediocrity thing and be able to look for how best to handle issues. Look for those who are qualified to handle these issues like this. So we look for combined intelligence gathering consisting of all the sister agencies and the locals. You can't take the locals out of it. The number 2, don't forget that there has to be operational, talking about military operational reforms.
Okay. And
these reforms has to be holistic, has to be fundamental, getting it right from the basics. Okay, what do? The reforms are, we need to change our way, our security architecture. This is no longer suitable for us. This one has been outlived. It's no longer the
it's outdated.
It's outdated. Situations have overtaken it. It's just like the way you fight the conventional warfare is not the same thing like a guerrilla warfare. What the modus these bandits operate and the terrorists operate is a guerrilla warfare. They come and take and strike and go back. So the one who was used to conventional warfare cannot be able to come. So you now look for people, you train them, send them overseas, bring them back, send them to Israel, send them to America, train them and bring them back. So we need to have military reforms. The number 3, we'll talk about institutions.
Okay.
We'll talk about good governance. Yeah. We'll talk about socio-economic reforms.
But if those are not in place,
if these ones are not in place, it will lead credence to the turmoil. So you don't want to give birth to, it's a trajectory, it gives birth, it's launched from there. So these are foot soldiers. Those who are recruited, basically because of socio-economic, problems we have at the foot here, they are easily handpicked. A man who has no access to 10,000 naira is being paid 100,000 naira to just go and drop something somewhere, and does not care whether the thing blows and kills people. He will carry it out. Then, most importantly, ideological reforms. Ideological reforms. At this level now, we need to get a lot of Islamic clerics. We need to get pastors, whatever, Christians, pastors, we need to get them involved. So these are issues that can be handled in this, these are things we must look at. If we want to have, good results as it comes to the fight against the act of terror in Nigeria and a fight against banditry and all that. So we must look at, and most importantly, like I said earlier, in the reforms, or maybe government, get a CTU in place, or look for a cell, a security cell hinged on one platform that drives this counter-terrorism. And make sure that from that level to the operational level is short-circuited.
Little or no information.
No information leaks out. So it's highly tight.
Yeah.
But this one, they goes through the normal bureaucracy,
from table to table.
From table to table, they drop a file from the office of the CDS to the chief of army staff, from chief of army staff to the one here. Before it gets to the theater, those who are at the operational theater, it has gone through even the saboteurs. So the people already have informations that even those at the operational theaters don't have. So we look at others. Our models are outdated. We need to think out of the box. And unfortunately, like I said, Nigerians is a problem. We don't think before we vote. Thank you very much.
Well, anyway, yeah, you've just given us an insight into that, and I'm happy you're saying no kinetic approach doesn't work. No. Because we could still remember, like I said, 40 persons were kidnapped just last week from a mosque in Zamfara. This was even after we know that the governor had a peace meeting with the bandits and it did not last. It only broke down. But also we are getting information early this morning that even the major mastermind of that very kidnap, his name is Mohammed Kanikai, has been arrested by security agencies. The news is just reaching us right here on Dialogue. If we get further information, we'll keep you abreast to know whether he was really arrested or not. But leaving that and coming now to this, yeah, you've given us a full understanding of what we need to do. But my next question is, can all of this be done if we do not have a proper understanding with our neighbors?
Regional integration, we need to do that.
Now, because if we take our minds back to August of 2023, when Niger had a break away from us in what's concerned security because of the coming of a new military junta, it looks as if the security problem have just increased. All the way from August of 2023, now down to 2025, September of 2025. Which means that our neighbors are not working with us.
Exactly.
And most of all of these bandits seem to be coming from Niger. So how really important is it? As much as we are putting all you said we need to put, we're having our neighbors on board so we can sleep with our two eyes closed.
Now I didn't really get. So, you see, we need to work with our neighbors. There must be sub-regional relationship. We need to work with, for instance, the Chad Basin. Chad, Niger, Mali, we share borders with all these persons. We need to do what we call border intelligence sharing. You understand? As much as we have surveillance over our borders, because our Nigerian borders are one of the most porous borders we have in the world. We have, as the last counts that we knew, we had over 240, access into this country that are not legal. And you understand, you know what that means.
Yeah.
So proliferation of light and small weapons, light and small arms, they come from this this basin. So until you share intelligence with these people, they will just allow the weapons to be coming. So the proliferation of arms and so light weapons have to be checkmated as well. And it can only be checkmated through border alliance. And that border alliance for now, I don't think Nigeria has. We're not in good relations with Mali. We're not in good relations with Burkina Faso. We're not in good relations with Niger and all that. So within around us, we see that we already have a disconnect from the that border relationship we was talking about, supposed to have. Then most importantly, also, we should think about terror financing.
Impact terror financing.
Impact. We should be able to liaise with what we call the FATF. Financial Action Task Force. Okay. It is a global body, that can help to trace funds. Then we can also liaise with the Interpol, then Afripol, then even Africom, the American body that helps to fight, terrorism in Africa. Yeah. And I think they are based in probably Niger or so. So we need to wake up, Nigeria. We need to wake up and see how we can. That connectivity has to be there, with all these international bodies as well. So until we get to that level, we still have a long way to go. Essentially, I don't see that thing, because I know the chief of defense staff is trying so much. As I said, the Northerners, whatever they did, basically you may discover that it has some ethno-religious inclination at the end of the day. But that's just the way it is. We need to go beyond ethno-religious thinking, sentiments. Nigeria should think beyond this. And that's the problem that bedevils this country. Unfortunately, everybody thinks that if a thief is from your community, he is my thief. Is not, is our thief, our thief, so we can protect him. They can. So when they see even criminal elements who are tormenting people and all that, they try to kind of protect until he begins to act against them. Just like Zilakorowa, you see, what happened was that these persons were brought in to protect a particular set of people. Now they have gone against them and decimated them. So these are things that we must look. We must think national in our thinking and our expression and all that. And until Nigeria gets to that level, we may still not get it right.
Okay, well, anyway, look as if we're really getting it right here in talking about the issue of the growing insecurity, knowing that the International Day for Peace was celebrated just yesterday. But what should we really do to indeed curb this growing insecurity? And that's why we still have our guest. And I doubt if time is not a friend, but we need to thank you so much before we go. And I'm talking of no other person, but security expert. And I'm talking of Mojefe Edafe. He has a BSc in criminology and security studies and also an MSc in intelligence and security gathering. Well, we really need to thank you so much. We might really need to bring you back here if there's any change, if there's any improvement, and to see whether some of even the ideas you've just laid bare would be instituted into dealing with the issues of insecurity. But all the same, thank you for honoring. This is your first time coming on Atlantic TV. We truly appreciate you, and we'll really be calling on you now and then just to help us out as it concerns security.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Well, anyway, that's more like a wrap today on Dialogue, and I will always implore you to please go drop your comments on our different social media platforms. They'll be with you shortly on your screen. Let's get your views as it concerns what needs to be done. Should we still continue with the kinetic approach of hitting them hard, just like the United States of America that does not negotiate with terrorists? Or do you feel we should go on a lighter note and do the non-kinetic in having that dialogue, not this dialogue we're having, but that dialogue with them, to see if they'll come on board and have a new leaf and change their ways, just like what happened in the Niger Delta when there was growing agitation, but there was every need to talk. What's your view on that? What do you feel needs to be done? But at the end, how can we get it right and get Nigerians truly secured, knowing that about 2,660 persons have been killed in the very first half of this year, which totally exceeds the 2,102 persons that were killed the same period last year. The whole of 2024, we had only 2,000 persons killed. But now, first half, we're having 2,666 persons killed. What should be done? Well, all of that we'd love to get from you. But what we'll do now is go on a break, and you do know Dialogue will definitely come up same time, same station tomorrow. But we need to go on a break. You know the news will come around the hour. And trending, well, it's something you don't want to miss. Let's go on that break.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined, uniquely different. Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Vocotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It's made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap-up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. From an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child, because I have gone through the struggles and from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have led that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri Child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to cheer you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
I am SP Dafebright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before. Not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we'll go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alert. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason, your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM PIN. The moment they cannot get the SIM PIN, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM PIN and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom, or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM PIN. Your SIM PIN is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM PIN. If you cannot enter your SIM PIN, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM PIN. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save 9. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines. Not be to call. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejere. Here are our top stories. Tinubu to declare 2025 Editors Annual Conference open in Abuja. Ishekiri leaders accuse Ogbijo monarch of illegal encroachment, fueling worry crisis. Fubara attends first church service after suspension, calls for peace and prayers. Ghost refineries. $3 billion wasted as PH worry Kaduna plans rot. UK, Australia, Canada break ranks, recognize Palestinian state. From Finidi to Semen, will bring you Nigerians who made Ballon d'Or history. Now to the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will on November 3rd officially declare open the 2025 All Nigeria Editors Conference, organized by the Nigerian Guild of Editors. The 4-day event will hold at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. According to a statement by NGE President Eze Anaba and Secretary Onoha Uke, the conference will feature keynote addresses and panel sessions on topics including election disputes, judiciary integrity, economic reforms, and the evolving face of journalism in the era of AI and misinformation. Also expected are papers on media and national security, as well as post-retirement opportunities for editors. The Guild said the gathering comes at a crucial time when Nigeria faces socio-economic challenges and increasing trust deficits, stressing the need for unity in diversity, inclusion, dialogue, and accountability. The opening ceremony will be attended by President Tinubu, FCT Minister Yusuf Wike, Minister of Information Mohammed Idris, governors, opposition leaders, and members of the diplomatic community. The 2025 All Nigeria Editors Conference will run from the 3rd of November to the 6th in Abuja, marking the second time in 12 years the FCT will host the country's biggest media leadership event. This year's conference, themed Democratic Governance and National Cohesion, the role of editors, will gather over 500 media professionals, political leaders, diplomats, and private sector players to discuss electoral integrity, media responsibility, and national unity ahead of the 2027 general elections. National Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, Bolaji Abdullahi, has slammed President Bola Tinubu's administration, claiming it lacks clear direction and is worsening the hardship of Nigerians. Abdullahi defended the legitimacy of the ADC's new leadership, insisting that INEC monitored and recognized its 99th NEC meeting. He criticized those challenging the leadership in court, describing them as a tiny minority with no legal grounds. He also fired back at critics, particularly former presidential candidate Dr. Kachuku, accusing him of promoting divisive rhetoric and age profiling. Abdullahi argued that recycled politicians exist in every party and that democracy cannot exclude older politicians. On the broader state of governance, Abdullahi said the Tinubu administration has failed to articulate a clear vision for Nigerians, insisting that opposition parties must remain strong to protect democracy ahead of the 2027 elections. The ADC spokesman vowed that despite attempts at destabilization, the party remains focused on restructuring, expanding its base, and positioning itself as a credible alternative in 2027. In an exclusive interview, Abdullahi also addressed the leadership tussle within the ADC, dismissing rumors of a court order against its NEC decision as government-backed disinformation aimed at destabilizing the opposition and dragging the country towards a one-party state. In Delta State, the Shekiri Nation have accused the Ama Okosu of Ogbijo, Mombene III, of deliberate encroachment and foiling fresh unrest in Warri. They allege that the unlawful claims over Warri's South local government area are destabilizing peace and threatening lives. The statement further revealed that the Ama Okosu had previously lost a legal battle in suit number W147-2020, with the court affirming his authority does not extend beyond Warri's southwest. Despite appealing the ruling, with hearing scheduled for September 30th, the Shekiri leaders say the monarch continues to act in defiance of the law. They also accused certain government functionaries of backing his claims, likening such support to treason. Among their demands are removal of all Ogbijo billboards in Warri South, a judicial panel of inquiry into illegal land occupation in Warri GRA, and investigations into alleged involvement of Tantita Security Services in the crisis. According to them, at least 5 lives have been lost and Warri's commercial activities severely disrupted. The Shekiri Nation insists it stands by the law, urging the Delta State government and security agencies to restore peace and call the Ama Okosu to order before the crisis escalates further. The leaders, in a statement issued at the Palace of the Olu of Warri, condemned the monarch for erecting billboards and asserting authority over territories outside his recognized domain, despite multiple court rulings against him. They insist his actions have triggered violence, including the killing of vigilante leader Dede Ogunbayo during a September 18th attack in Pesu community. You're watching our daily news roundup right here on Atlantic TV. We'll go for a short break. On the other side, more news stories to come.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. And now in Rivers State, the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has called on the church and citizens to remain steadfast in prayers as he resumes governance following the end of the 6-month emergency rule. Governor Fubara, joined by his wife, Lady Valerie, and top government officials, said prayers had been the bedrock of his strength and would remain crucial in fulfilling his mandate. He likened prayers to bank deposits whose dividends manifest in due season, thanking Opobo people for years of fasting and intercession. Fubara also underscored the importance of peace, describing it as the greatest gift for unity, development, and good health. Special prayers were offered by Venerable Emmanuel Nwuju for the governor, his family, the administration, and the peace of Rivers State. The service, themed Harvest of Divine Possibilities, was attended by stakeholders including Chief of Staff Dr. Edison Ehie, Council Chairman Barrister James A. James, and other dignitaries. Governor Fubara reaffirmed his dedication to serving Rivers people, urging continued prayers and support as he charts a renewed course for the state. The governor made the appeal on Sunday at St. Paul's Anglican Church, Opobo Town, during a Thanksgiving service, his first public outing since returning to office. The South-North Progressive Forum, SNPF, has launched a nationwide campaign calling for presidential power to remain in the South beyond 2027. Onyekwusili revealed that the forum has built grassroots structures in more than 30,000 communities and is targeting at least 10 million votes for a Southern candidate in 2027. He stressed that the SNPF's philosophy of rightful defection prioritizes competence and credibility over party loyalty. The forum pledged to support a Northern candidate in 2031, describing it as part of its commitment to unity and inclusion. Beyond zoning, the group is also pushing for legislative reforms to grant the FCT full state status with a governor, 3 senatorial districts, and increased federal allocations. The SNPF also urged political parties, especially the ADC, to adopt zoning arrangements that reflect equity. With campaigns for 2027 already heating up, the SNPF's intervention adds fresh momentum to Nigeria's long-running debate on power rotation. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, Chairman Festus Onyekwusilisi argued that keeping power in the South will promote fairness, equity, and national cohesion, noting that the North has already held the presidency for 24 years compared to the South's 18. Despite over $3 billion spent on rehabilitation, Nigeria's state-owned refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna remain idle. Investigations reveal that workers resumed to empty facilities with no production, raising fresh concerns over systemic failure and mismanagement. In Port Harcourt, Sunday news findings showed that the once busy depot is now deserted. Truck parks lie empty, while other diesel from old stock is being lifted. Marketers say the refinery is not working despite public claims of resumption last year. Some accuse management of shielding major marketers while independent dealers are left stranded. At Warri and Kaduna, the story is still the same: silent plants, idle workers, and no fuel output. The $3 billion investment, initially hailed as a breakthrough, has instead become a symbol of waste and neglect. Industry analysts warn that Nigeria's continued reliance on fuel imports, despite its oil wealth, fuels corruption, worsens economic hardship, and raises questions about accountability. With billions spent and little to show, Nigerians are left asking, will the dream of functional state-owned refineries ever become a reality, or will the ghost facilities remain monuments of failure? The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has already quizzed sacked NNPCL officials over alleged fund mismanagement. Stakeholders accuse government of deceiving Nigerians with false promises, as refineries once projected to run at 70% capacity now stand abandoned. Nigeria earned $2.21 billion from crude oil exports to the United States between January and July 2025, according to new data from the U.S. Census Bureau and Bureau of Economic Analysis. Data shows that Nigeria shipped 28.7 million barrels of crude in the seven-month period, well ahead of Libya, Angola, and Ghana. The customs value of the shipment stood at $2.16 billion, rising to $2.21 billion on a cost, insurance, and freight basis. But the report highlights volatility. June saw nearly 7 million barrels exported, valued at $496 million, one of the year's strongest months. By contrast, July shipments slumped to 4.4 million barrels, worth just $336 million. Overall, Nigeria still accounted for more than half of Africa's crude exports to the U.S., which totaled $3.82 billion. Analysts warn that the sharp year-on-year decline underscores Nigeria's vulnerability to global oil price swings at a time when the country is battling to stabilize its foreign exchange reserves and boost revenue. Despite remaining the U.S. top African crude supplier, Nigeria faces growing concerns over declining earnings, fluctuating exports, and the long-term sustainability of its oil-dependent economy. The figure confirms Nigeria as America's largest African crude supplier, but earnings fell sharply compared to last year, with an 8.8% drop in shipment volumes and a 22% decline in value. Nigeria's crude oil production slipped below its OPEC quota in August, according to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC. In a statement, NUPRC confirmed that Nigeria pumped an average of 1.43 million barrels per day in August, down from 1,507 MPPD in July. This represents a loss of about 66,000 barrels per day, bringing production to 96% of its OPEC target. Daily condensate production also dipped, sliding from 220,435 barrels per day in July to 197,229 barrels per day in August. Despite the drop, the Commission highlighted Nigeria's capacity to consistently meet near-target production, pointing to terminal outputs. Focados led with 8.99 million barrels. Bonny followed with 6.26 million barrels. Hugh Ibo recorded 4.99 million barrels. Escravos contributed 4.18 million barrels. NUPRC noted, however, that combined crude and condensate production still averaged 1.67 MBPD in August 2025, an improvement compared to the 1.58 MBPD recorded last year. While Nigeria narrowly missed its August target, the Commission assured stakeholders that production remains stable, with a strong outlook for meeting OPEC commitments in the coming months. The regulator blamed the shortfall on a single day of unscheduled maintenance at an oil facility, which dragged output below the 1.5 million barrels per day quota. You're watching our daily news roundup. We'll go for yet another short break. When we return, more stories on the international scene and the sports scene. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now on the foreign scene. In a historic foreign policy shift, Britain, Australia and Canada on Sunday formally recognized the state of Palestine, becoming the first G7 countries to do so. The move has triggered swift Israeli anger, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to oppose it at the United Nations. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer declared on X that recognition was aimed at giving Palestinians and Israelis a fresh chance at peace. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney echoed the sentiment, saying his government was committed to supporting a peaceful future for both states. But Israel has pushed back, insisting recognition rewards terrorism. Netanyahu warned that calls for Palestinian statehood threaten Israel's existence. The war in Gaza, now nearly 2 years old, has devastated the enclave, leaving over 65,000 dead, according to UN-verified figures, and sparking widespread humanitarian concerns. 3/4 of UN member states already recognize Palestine, but this latest move marks the first time powerful Western allies have shifted position, a decision likely to dominate talks at the UN General Assembly in New York this week. With public opinion swinging across Europe and beyond, and thousands rallying monthly for Palestine, recognition by the UK, Canada, and Australia signals a turning point, one that could reshape global diplomacy on the Middle East conflict. Portugal also confirmed it would announce recognition later the same day as international pressure mounts on Israel over its ongoing Gaza offensive. The UK government said the decision was taken to revive hope for peace and secure a two-state solution. Away from that, now to the sports news. The Ballon d'Or, football's most prestigious individual prize, has long been dominated by Europeans and South Americans. But over the years, a few Nigerians have broken through, earning nominations and carving their names into football history. This year, the 2025 Ballon d'Or shortlist includes 2 Nigerians, Chiamaka Nnadozie, nominated for the Women's Yashin Trophy as the first African goalkeeper ever in the category. Justin Madugu, head coach of the Super Falcons, shortlisted for the Johan Crofts Trophy after guiding Nigeria to WAFCON glory. Past trailblazers include Finidi George, who finished 21st in 1995, Daniel Amokachi, nominated the same year, and J.J. Okocha, whose creativity put Nigeria on the map. The 69th Ballon d'Or ceremony holds on Monday, September 22nd at the Théâtre du Châtelet in Paris, and Nigerians will once again be watching with pride. From legends of the 1990s to today's rising stars, Nigeria's football journey at the Ballon d'Or continues to inspire a new generation. From Finidi George's Champions League winning season with Ajax in 1995 to Austin J.J. Okocha's flair Daniel Amokachi's Everton exploits, and now Victor Osimhen and Asisa Toshola's leading the new generation, Nigeria has produced players who have stood tall on the world stage. Atletico Madrid's rocky start to the La Liga season continued on Sunday as they were held to a 1-1 draw away at Mallorca. Striker Julian Alvarez missed a penalty, and Alexander Soriot saw red before Diego Simeone's men were pegged back late on. Atletico began brightly with Pablo Barrios striking the post, and Mallorca goalkeeper Leo Roman denying Alvarez twice, including from the penalty spot after Antonio Ralio handled in the box. The Rojiblancos' night got harder when Alexander Solot was sent off for a reckless challenge, but Galaga's rebound strike gave them hope of victory. That hope was short-lived as Maric's powerful header leveled the game before Jan Oblak had to save Atletico at the death from Pablo Torres' curling effort. The draw capped off a frustrating week for Simeone's men, who had also suffered a dramatic Champions League defeat at Liverpool just days earlier. Atletico's winless struggles raise fresh questions ahead of their next league outing, with pressure mounting on Simeone to steady the Rojiblancos' season. Conor Gallagher also gave Atletico the lead in the 77th minute, but Fadet Maric's 85th minute header rescued a point for Mallorca. The result leaves Atletico sitting 12th in the table with just one win from their opening 5 matches. And with that sport news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Do also follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant day.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's Trending O'Clock. And you know how we do it right here on Trending. We talk about all the trending gist on the internet and of course give our opinions about them. I am Mercy Irabo, and you know I am never alone in the studio. I have with me Michael Gubadia, and together we'll be talking about all the trending gist and of course give our opinions about them. So what's trending today? Let's start with this story that's been stirring a lot of emotions online. A Nigerian student studying in the UK has broken down in tears after her visa was revoked, and she reportedly exceeded the 20-hour work time that is the limit for international students studying in the UK, and now she has been ordered to leave the country immediately. Well, let's see the footage.
I never knew that one day I would come out like this. Feeling so vulnerable and, in a place of pain to talk to you guys. The journey of wanted to celebrate so much. A journey that everybody around me has wanted to celebrate. It's just I just ended on the way with no opportunity.
That's a really sad one. And for context, the UK immigration rule states that international students are only permitted to work up to 20 hours per week during academic section, and this is to ensure that they focus on their studies and also to prevent unfair labor. Well, this is where it gets complicated because the students studying outside country are facing a lot of financial pressure, and I think that they really need to exceed the work time. They need to work extra hours to be able to survive in the UK. But the truth is, what is not right is not right. So that does not really justify the fact that she exceeded the usual work time. Mr. Michael, what's your take on this?
My take is I will cry also. I'm not crying on her behalf. I'm crying for Nigeria as a country.
Yeah.
If we take our minds back to 1970 and early 80s, we used to have international students come to Nigerian universities to study. The UI was a precise location. The University of Benin was one of them. But now seeing Nigerian students go overseas and cry on account of being sent back home is a thing of sorrow for all of us. It shows how far or how little we've paid to our educational sector and how ashamed we have now become to be. A laughing stock in the Community of Nations, knowing that our universities, it's even surprising that you find even Nigerians going to Ghana.
Yeah, Ghana.
To get education, going to Mali. It's really disheartening. It's a thing of shame, and a one that I will cry differently. I'm crying not for her coming back home, but for us being laughed and tossed around just on account of we going to study overseas. It's really a sad one.
Well, this is Nigeria. If only the country was better, I'm sure she would gladly be coming home.
Back home.
But it just has to be like this. She's crying because she doesn't really want to face all of the hardship and everything that she has to come and
she's
face here in the country. Because
she'll come no light. She will enter Molue from Ikorodu to
ASU strike. That's another thing. When you're supposed to study a 4-year course and you're going into 5 years, 6 years, still studying a particular course. So I feel really, really bad for her. And then if you're watching this and you have plans of relocating, you should know that you shouldn't, it's not Nigeria where you just try to bend the rules and all of that. You shouldn't exceed your work time. So away from the girl in the UK, let's move to US, where a Nigerian man has just been sentenced to court for a romance scam. Well, it's not a new thing, Mr. Michael. We're always seeing cases of this whole romance scam. So according to reports, a US court has sentenced a 37-year-old man, Ade Tomiwa Sheun Akindele, to 71 months in prison, and that is almost 6 years in prison. And he allegedly defrauded a Colorado widow of $1.6 million through an online romance scam. So like I said, this is not a new method of scam, and at this point I don't know, should we blame the scammers for being cruel, or we should actually blame the victims for being over trusting and maybe gullible?
Well, anyway, both sides needs to be blamed. We need to blame because the scammers are giving us a bad name, and everybody will say when it comes to love scam and all of that, Nigeria seems to be rated high. It's quite sad. But on the other side, I wonder why these old women will always want to go for these young African men. It's something that is disheartening. I've seen old women come to Nigeria, women of 80, 60, coming to get married to 20-year-old young men here in Nigeria, and even those that are young enough to be their grandchildren. It's quite painful that these elderly women that should have known better are the ones falling prey to all these scams. And it goes to show you level of immorality and level of moral decadence, especially as it concerns young ones, and also, funny enough, the elderly. So we need to just tell them, please, all of this needs to end, but all the same, it's giving us a bad name, and one that indeed will be affecting a whole lot of us. When you go to abroad, you go to some of these international airports, you hold a green passports, you're being held separately. You hold a different one, you're being held. It's really not. It's really not a sight to see. It's quite annoying.
It is not. So this is telling us that because allegedly this guy scammed this lady. Not just, it wasn't just a one-time thing. He's been getting money from her until she exhausted until she exhausted all her savings, and she decided to cry out because you're spending money and you're not seeing your supposed lover. So she had to cry out. So this is just a sign telling you that you can never run away from crime. No matter how you try to run, it will always catch up with you. Well, away from that, I saw this very strong statement online that your problem as a man starts when you empower your wife. And who is saying this? This is coming from Sylvester, music executive Sylvester Nweke. Well, let's see the footage.
Your problem starts as a man the day you open business for your wife or your
you open business for your wife. Interesting. So like we said, this is a very strong statement, and it's brought divided opinions from netizens. Some actually feel like, okay, maybe he's speaking from a personal or cultural perspective, that if you empower your wife, she might just turn disrespectful or stop being submissive to you as a husband. And some persons are like, no, this man's mindset is outdated, it's archaic, it is backward. Well, let me reserve my comment. Mr. Michael, what's your take?
I feel he has every reason to feel that way, but I feel he's also economical with the truth. If you empower a woman and she's really yours, and she understands that both of you are on the same boat, I've seen many women that were even empowered with little things, but they came out great and on top, and are very respectful to their husband. They still do so much for the family. Sir, it depends on where you got her. So please, it's not a general thing. Don't generalize. Women are nice, and if you empower some of them, they do great things. They'll often help you take care of your children. You know, this is where we seem to lose it as men in Nigeria. We feel that once a woman, you empower her financially, you give her some level of freedom, you end up losing her. But that, for me, is more like insecurity on the part of a man. Empowering a woman doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't. That doesn't stop you from doing what you need to do. That doesn't stop you from providing. So please, let's go away with this stereotype that women should not be empowered. You have a daughter. Would you not empower your daughter to be a great person in the future? That's the question.
I like the fact that for the first time ever, Mr. Michael is not taking sides with his gender. Like, I think Guinness World Record really needs to take notes of this very day that Mr. Michael did not take sides. Interesting. So talking about you were not really far from the truth, because I feel men like this, they have this issue of insecurity. Because they feel when the lady, fine, you're empowering somebody, but you don't want this person to be better. You don't want this person to thrive better than you. You don't want this person to just, because at the end of the day, you are scared that this person might grow better and bigger, and then you start seeing these signs as disrespect. I don't know why certain men are built that way. Well, that is it. So it came from your gender. Your thoughts are backward, they're outdated, and archaic in nature. Well, away from that, let's talk about a story that has gotten everybody talking and maybe laughing. So a Nigerian pastor recently crossed the stair in his church after distributing bras to ladies that came to church or that came to church service without putting one on. So when I saw this video, I was like, are you sure? Is this a church? Is it? Well, let's not talk too much. Let's see the footage.
Today, any girl will enter this church with a see a nipple. Say, God bless you. We have discovered that you can't afford bra. So, on behalf of the church, we give you this picture. But you know they carry and go as you would want. Those there. One, two, I'm not joking though. If we can't change you in this church, look for another church. Hearing me? I'm a young man. I want to make heaven.
So you heard him right. He said that modesty needs to be maintained in the house of God, even if it meant giving ladies bras. Ladies, I think this is personal for the ladies, that they need to be well dressed in church, and he needs to make heaven. So I don't know what that meant though, Mr. Michael.
Well, anyway, if he's really deep entrenched in the word of God, he'll be looking at the Bible and not the front size of women. And funny enough, how does he know the size of the bras he's sharing out? Does he look at them from, does he have an insight of how the shape and all of that is? It's really funny that rather than him paying attention to the spiritual needs of the people, he's talking about front. Anyway, is there in the Bible, what will make you fall into sin? Cut it off. So, exactly. Well, I'm not telling him to blind himself. Or if you feel giving the women bra will help you save and save yourself from thinking evil thoughts while preaching on the pulpit, please do. So at least we'll get you more concentrated on the Bible rather than looking at, well, anyway, don't mind me, well-nurtured front and you not preaching the gospel.
Anyways, so netizens reacted differently. Some are actually applauding him for trying to embrace decency in the house of God. And while others are saying that this is unnecessary and it's embarrassing and it's also an invasion of privacy. Do I think it's an invasion of privacy? But my issue is...
It's not an invasion of privacy.
Why do girls, like, okay, I understand the fact that most of them, which I don't see anything that justifies the fact that you're on the streets without bras, but going to the church without bras, that's just something else.
Well,
it's really annoying.
It's a new level of indecency, and it's really, really disheartening that sometimes you see these ladies, and funny enough, they sit at the front. And, you know, I really envy all these pastors. Sorry, I pity these pastors because what they see, we do not see. But anyway, all I know, I go to the church, read my Bible, go home, and I do not see whether a woman is putting on bra, pants, or underwear. That's not my business. I go to worship God. But if the pastor is seeing all of that, I wish him well.
So it's, like I said, I think it's a nice one, but I don't think it was supposed to come from the pastor. Probably they would just do it secretly, not the pastor just...
And he's even telling them to return the bra after mine. Please don't share more. We have sicknesses and diseases,
exactly.
Please do not share it among them.
So he's asking them to return the bras after putting it on. Like, okay, when you come to the church, the ushers, the protocol will just give you, okay, hello sister, a blessing, welcome to church. Okay, this is your bra, you need to put it on. And please remember to return.
Unnecessary